Hey guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
We're two lifelong friends and musicians, but when we're not playing gigs, we like to talk games.
And today on the Gaming Gig Podcast, we're talking about the rising popularity of hybrid consoles, some big news from Bethesda and Starfield, and the recent Helldivers 2 controversy.
Well, Daniel, we got us a meaty episode today. Lots of interesting stuff to talk about.
So meaty. It's meatier than last episode.
I would say so. Probably.
Meteor.
What do you mean by that? You're going to have to explain this to me.
It's meant to be meteor, but I used meteor just to make like a space pun because we're going to be talking about Starfield soon.
Oh, well, that's our first topic. But
Yeah.
Main topic today, we're talking about Helldivers 2 and the shit that they've stepped in. Excuse my French there.
Lord, help us, Coyote.
Sorry about that.
Right off the bat.
But it's true. And then also we're going to be talking about Xbox putting out this survey about handheld systems, which is going to, kind of talk about hybrid consoles and how they're popular. So lots of interesting stuff has happened this week in the news. By the way, guys, if you're new, welcome to the Gaming Gig Podcast. This is a weekly gaming news podcast where we recap the best news stories or the most interesting news stories from the past week for you.
That's right. And we're going to get into it. But first, we do want to let you know we do offer memberships on the podcast channel. And we do a bonus episode right after we record this every week. And if you want to see that, it's a little more casual, maybe a little sillier. If you want to see that, make sure you hit that join button.
Yep. All right. Starting things off with some Bethesda and Starfield news. I do believe old Todd Howard went and did an interview, I think with Kinda Funny.
Who is Todd?
Oh.
Who is Todd?
So if you guys, for those of you who are new around here, the running joke is that I think one time I messed up and called him Tim Howard. And then ever since then, Daniel has called him Tim Howard.
I even put it in the outline.
Did you really?
If I type Mr. Howard's name in our outline, I call him Tim.
That's great.
He is Tim Howard to me. And yeah, I'm telling you what, big old news coming from Tim.
So Starfield is getting a DLC.
It is?
Now
Shattered Space.
We've known about this, but it's coming out, I think he said coming out later this year,
It's
right?
coming out in the fall. That's
In
what
the
he
fall.
said. Yeah.
But that's not the only bit of Starfield news.
No, we're getting an update, Randy.
Yeah.
An update. And you know what is in this update?
I know what it is. It's that they're adding a 60 FPS mode, which they said originally was impossible. So I don't know.
Well, leave it to Tim Howard and the team at Bethesda to do the impossible because they are bringing a 60 FPS mode to Series X and some new map features.
So it's only coming to Series X.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Because
maybe
you could already, run the frame rate at whatever you wanted to on PC.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I guess they couldn't get it on Series S, and maybe they wanted the launch to be,
Consistent
amongst both.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to have to give up on that whole keeping parity between Series S and X. I think that's going to become more and more of a problem as this generation goes on.
Definitely. I definitely agree. And I think you're kind of just holding yourself back, if you do that. No, I'm not one of these crazy tinfoil hatists that say the Series S is holding gaming back.
No, I don't think so.
But I do think you're kind of holding yourself back if you limit the more powerful console to, like you said, parity the weaker one.
Yeah, agreed. And it's funny because we saw this, I think the first big example of that happening was Baldur's Gate 3, which launched on Xbox. I think it was the very first game that was able to break that doesn't have to be the same on Series S as X because they left out the local co-op mode on the Series S. But now we see Microsoft actually doing it with one of their own games. So that's just saying hey guys, it's pretty much Wild West over there in Xbox land.
It sure is.
But I agree with you. I don't think it's holding back gaming because the truth is if a company cannot get their game running the way they want on Series S and they feel like it has to be on Xbox, well, I don't think it has to be on Xbox. It could be on PC. It could be on PlayStation. It's going to do just fine. I don't think that being on Xbox is what makes and breaks hardly any games these days.
No, no, it's definitely not. And maybe Xbox could be a little more flexible since I don't know, they kind of got this reputation of not having maybe quite the bangers that some of these other consoles have. Maybe they stop being a little picky or being so picky. And if a game wants to go to Xbox, but it can only go to Series X, maybe they okay it. I don't know.
I don't know if they would okay that. I think they're kind of like right now we're seeing like little things like, okay, the co-op mode isn't on Series S, or, the frame rate options on Series X are different than Series S. That to me makes a little more sense. I think the frame rate thing is definitely I think that should be allowed anywhere. The frame rate options can be different on S and X.
For sure.
I just think it totally makes sense.
For sure.
But we, the big thing that I think a lot of people are excited about, or at least some people are excited about, is
are definitely dozens of people.
At least dozens. People are excited about the Shattered Space DLC. I personally am not super excited about it, but still, we put out a poll kind of judging what the Gaming Gig viewers, what they thought about this, and hit us with them results, Daniel.
Well, the Gaming Gig faithful said 9%, yes, I'm excited and I plan to play Starfield Shattered Space DLC. 14% said maybe, I need to see more first. I'm intrigued. And 77% said, screw you, Tim. I'm not playing this.
I'm not interested in Starfield.
Percent.
Oh, yeah. Pretty low percentages. I mean, it's about in line with what I expected.
Yeah, me too.
Only 9% of people being like, yeah, I'm jumping on Starfield. I mean, like, we've talked about Starfield a million times. But let's see what some commenters have to say. Maybe they'll enlighten us a little bit. Oh, XSHME said. XSHME said, probably, I got the deluxe edition for free with my GPU. It was a fine game, like a solid 6 out of 10, so unless reviews are horrible, I'll try it out since I got it for free anyways.
Yeah, and I picked this comment because, it wasn't just negative, and there was some negativity that I could have chose from. But I also thought it was interesting that they were like, yeah, this is solid. It's solid. It's a 6 out of 10. And that just seems to be the consensus. Starfield just seems kind of mid.
Yeah. This does make me think about how people grade games.
Yeah,
like 1 out of 10. I do typically when I'm finished playing a game on Game Track. That's an app you can use to track what games you played and at what times you played them. And then when you do that, it asks you to, once you finish it, it asks you to rate the game.
Right.
And in my mind, I always kind of use like I say 10 is like just a, almost like one game a year might come out that's like a 10 out of 10, It's just like seriously monumental game. A 9 game to me is like excellent.
Yep.
An 8 is a great game. 7 is a good game, but not great. 6 is an okay game. 5 is like okay. It's not even okay. It's just kind of And then it just gets, from there. But most games, I think, it's very rare for a game to get underneath 5 for me.
Yeah.
So maybe the scale is broken.
I think you're trying too hard to use all 10. Maybe that's your issue there.
Maybe 1 out of 5 would be an easier thing to do.
It might be,
like
sure.
But
you could do that. You could just use use 2s.
Use 2s, but then you got no room. There's no 7s. There's no 5s. There's no 9s. It's just either an 8 or a 10.
I mean, that's what you would get if you used out of 5, though.
Yeah, see what's
the
funny
ratios are equivalent.
People use the stars and they'll give like 3.5 stars. It's like At that point you're just doing a scale out of 10.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. See, I'm a high school teacher and I just can't hardly get past like below 7 being failing.
Right. I think that is what a lot of people think. So they think if a game is a 6, that it has failed. And I don't think Starfield failed.
I don't either, but I love saying Star failed.
Right.
But no, I don't either. And me personally, I would have said it's a 7 out of 10.
I think I would give it a 7 out of 10
I don't think it failed.
I would be interested in going back and looking at what I gave it, but I bet you I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I felt like it was a good game, not a great game, not a bad game.
I feel like a 7 out of 10 on my scale is like a 6 out of 10 on yours.
It was an okay game?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I gave it a 6. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying maybe you liked it a little more. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Honestly, I think I liked it more upon release than you did. And I kind of fell off. I kind of just I just never got deeper. It just kind of made me sad by the end. At first I was like, okay, cool, Skyrim in space, but it just didn't give me the same feeling that Skyrim did.
No, me neither.
In the end.
It's because you're too busy fast traveling. You know,
We're going to get to that.
fast travel the game. All right, we got a comment from Father Omar. Hit us with it, Daniel.
Yes, Father said, it's definitely not a masterpiece or anything, but it was a fun game for the most part. Yeah, more waffling and midness on Starfield. Thank you, Father.
Yeah, it does feel like it is a sort of mid game. I mean, not bad. It really wasn't a bad game, but it's so forgettable. I don't even remember. I remember it had a crazy storyline, like literally like insane. But I don't remember anything about the story.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it, except you were looking for some sort of like artifacts.
Yeah.
And there were multiple groups looking for these artifacts. And then it got like crazy at the end. That's all I remember. I don't think you even ever saw the end because it wasn't good enough for you to see it through.
I didn't. Yeah. I saw through some of the big side quests, but I didn't see through the main quest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just mid, man. I don't know what to say. Like it's just a mid game. I don't think I'll ever play it again, but I'm not like upset that I put, I don't know, 25-ish
in
hours.
a game that ambitious, like very much runs the chance of being a mid game, just because it has so much scope that you run the problem of like not being focused enough for it to feel really good. You know what I mean? And I think that's where they run into that problem.
Yeah. Do you think Bethesda is kind of like, because they used to, like, I feel like Bethesda used to drop nothing but big, ambitious, open world bangers, right? And now it's like they're still trying to do that, but they just don't have the same magic. Do you think that's because there's so many other big open world bangers now and they just don't have the same shine comparatively?
Maybe. You have a good point there. Like, we've had so many open world games just do it better. Just do it, like, way better. Like, take the inspiration from what Bethesda was, like, aiming for.
Right.
But they were actually able to, like, see it through.
Like Witcher 3.
Yeah. Witcher 3 is a great example.
Yeah. Witcher 3 just slaps the hell out of Bethesda these days.
It really does. And it's like, you know, obviously, I don't think a lot of these games would be in the same place if it wasn't for games like Skyrim or even something like Fallout 3 or New Vegas. You know, like, those games were so important in their time, but I do think they've been eclipsed. And you might be right. And it's like Bethesda maybe they're on a similar level of quality as they've always been, but
they haven't evolved with the times, maybe.
Yes, maybe they're outdated. That old, that Nakey Jakey video, that Bethesda games are outdated. It's a very popular video on YouTube. You don't know who I'm talking about?
I don't know.
You really don't?
I really don't know.
Oh my gosh. You got to look up Nakey Jakey, man.
Well, I'm not doing that on camera, dude.
He's the dude who reviews games. He's always sitting on his exercise ball. No,
Nakey?
He's not Nakey. No, that's just his name.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
Really good. He was recently a guest on the Friends Per Second podcast.
Nakey?
He was not Nakey. No.
When does he get Nakey?
Just Jakey. He's never Nakey, man. He's got clothes.
Well,
on.
He should be never Nakey Jakey.
I think it just rhymes with Jakey, man. I think that's just that's the joke. It ends with that.
Well, I don't like it.
You think if you're going to say you're naked, you need to be naked.
If you're going to say you're naked, you best be naked. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't hear me calling myself
Naked Daniel.
Naked Daniel. Yeah, I was racking my brain for a rhyme. I call myself unnaked Daniel because I ain't naked. You know what I mean?
You don't call yourself unnaked Daniel. You never do that.
I literally do that all the time.
We
got a comment here.
I was about to say, let's see what Morris Dennison has to say.
Yeah, hit us with that, Coyote.
Morris says, shoots. They are desperate for the modders to come back to fix the game. Shoots?
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
Shoots and ladder? Maybe just shoot.
I think shoot. Yeah.
Shoot.
Tim Howard did say that they were bringing mod support to the console version of the game soon. So
have there? I'm assuming that they've had other, console mod support on other games.
They have.
I've never messed around with any mods on a console game ever in my life.
The only modded game I have ever played is a little bit of Fallout 4 recently. That's the only time I've ever messed around.
Modded on console?
Well, no, I'm playing it on Steam, but
no, I'm saying like that's the only modded game you've ever played.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I played some Pokemon ROM hacks.
Well, that's not the same though, because you didn't install the mods. You just like got the ROM hack and played it.
That's just
played it the way it was. Yeah.
Well, I did modify a ROM to do it.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
yeah, we can
I don't know that it's
I
quite
don't
the
know.
same thing.
Back when I was playing Kerbal Space Program, that was like the mod community was such a huge part of that game. Like you almost like if you really want to have the best experience, you just couldn't play it without mods, and it was just so like it's such an important and big part of the gaming experience of that particular game.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's how Bethesda games get eventually.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's coming for Starfield.
But speaking of, did you hear that? This is just related to Kerbal Space Program. Their I don't know, maybe that development company is getting canned. Like they got bought by Take-Two, and now Take-Two's folding a bunch of stuff. So
no more
I think
KSP?
I think KSP2 is still gonna like continue because it's still in like early access.
Oh, really?
So I think they're gonna like see it out until it's done. But then I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen.
Man.
The development studio behind KSP2 is different than the one who did KSP because there was like I don't know some like swapping around of hands. I don't think that the guy that made Kerbal Space Program is actively on Kerbal Space Program 2 right now. I could be wrong about that because I saw that he put out another game that was like looked like very much based on KSP. He just like did very recently. It was like I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know this about Randy, but he has a history of being a KSP super nerd.
Yes. But I kind of got off of it, a while back.
I figured you did that a lot of times.
On it. I said off it, not on it. Anyways.
Anyway, we got a comment here from Beetle, who just honestly, Beetle has got their thumb on the pulse of the gaming zeitgeist right now and saying, yay, I can fast travel more now.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Lol.
Poor Bethesda.
Lol, Raffle, am I right?
I mean, like, seriously.
Like
I hope that... I know that they've added updates. I know they added, like, town maps. Like, I cannot believe that they didn't have freaking maps in the game.
Right.
You could go on what kind of game? This burns me up. You're playing a game, you go into the map, and all it gives you is a topographical map with no markers of where anything's at.
Yep.
That is straight up unacceptable for a game like that. An open world game to have nothing but a topographical map that means nothing.
Unacceptable.
I genuinely really do think it's unacceptable.
I think that's very interesting that you think that.
Why?
No, I'm just saying I agree.
No,
I'm just messing with you. I just like to get you all riled up, Coyote. You know that.
It really
is. It's freaking stupid.
It's really
Tim, what the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah.
You're about to get us pissed.
But I'm glad. I know they've added stuff like that, or at least they planned to add it. Maybe I don't know. I don't keep up with. I just saw that they were either adding it or it's been added.
It's coming in the update.
Oh, it is.
City maps is coming in the more detailed city maps. Anyway, is what it said. So there may already be city maps in some capacity. I don't know.
Right.
I don't give a crap. But they are getting more detail. Is all I know.
It's ridiculous.
Do you think Tim watches this? By the way, do you think we could speak directly to him?
Yeah, he probably hates that we call him Tim, but
Tim, listen.
He doesn't earn the Todd unless
listen, buddy.
Put out a real good banger. Then you earn the Todd.
No, listen, Tim. The reason I heckle you and get so mad at you so easily is because I love you, and I want you to do better because I know you can.
He loves your jackets. Dude's got a great jacket collection.
Definitely. Sick jackets. Coats, hoodies.
No, he's a jacket guy. That
Rain
leather
jackets?
jacket, and that one leather jacket you have is iconic.
Oh, man.
I think that one's going to be a custom jacket. I've only ever seen him have that one.
Only Tim wears that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this Xbox thing. But first, I want to tell you guys about our Twitch channel. We stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. Actually, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a really good time. We're playing some Sea of Thieves. We're playing some Guess the Game. We're going to be mixing in some other stuff here soon. So come check us out. There's a link to the Twitch channel in the description of this podcast. Go there, follow us, and keep up with what we're doing.
That's right. It's nothing but straight W Riz over there. Moving on, we got another topic here about something that we've kind of been noticing happening in the realm of gaming, and that is these hybrid consoles they ain't gone anywhere since the Switch showed up, and in fact they have risen in popularity.
Absolutely, and what we're seeing is that the traditional console manufacturers like Xbox, PlayStation, they seem to be dabbling in like trying to get a little bit of this little slice of this pie. I think even the like PlayStation Portal was a little bit of them trying to capture a tiny bit of that.
It was a half measure.
Yeah, a half measure.
But at least they produced something and you can now buy it. Xbox hasn't even made that for you.
No, they have not. But what Xbox has done is they have recently put out a survey and they kind of just sent it to random people, it seems.
Yeah.
And the survey basically asked the survey participants if they were planning on buying a gaming handheld within the next like 2 to 5 years, which there's already been tons of rumors that in the next generation of consoles that Xbox is going to ship a standard console and in lieu of something like the Series S, like a less powerful console, instead they are going to have their big boy and then a handheld, a hybrid handheld in place of that like Series S.
I love that idea.
I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, I think that is exactly what you need to be doing. That sounds fan-freaking-tastic. It's the one I would buy.
And they might even be the same price point. Like they may both be like, say, $500, dollars, which would be a great price point for a handheld console.
It would.
And then, then you also, for the people who just want that more powerful home console, they could have that. But of course, the trade-off being that it doesn't have the handheld.
Yeah. This is literally the only way they get my money again. Because I'm never going to buy another home console Xbox unless something crazy changes. Because I'm just going to keep having a PC. I've already said that publicly on the internet. So it must be true.
Yeah, you're definitely never going to change your mind.
So the only way they get my money is if they put out one of these hybrid consoles and it's good.
Yeah, and it's very
That's the only way they get me.
I think it's an excellent idea. We've said it many times on the podcast. I've said that I think that if anyone should get into the handheld business, and I think it would do well for them, I think it's Xbox. I think it makes a lot of sense. But I wanted to see, kind of like see what people were thinking about. Are they planning on getting a handheld? Kind of basically duplicate the survey that Xbox sent out, except put it on the Gaming Gig channel. So let's see how those results came out, Daniel.
Well, at 50%, people said yes. I'm planning on buying the Switch too.
Right.
At 10%, people said yes, I'm going to get me a handheld gaming PC like the Steam Deck or the Ally, the Legion Go, things like that. 6% people said yes, I'm going to get multiple of these things. And 34% said no. So
that's pretty good. We're talking...
Obviously, people are going to get the Switch.
Yeah, like 64% of people saying that they're going to get some sort of gaming handheld in the next few years, 50% of which is the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, much more than 50% of the total 60-something.
Oh, yeah. A big chunk of that, yeah. Oh, the overwhelming people who are going to be getting gaming handhelds, they're going to get the Switch too.
And that's no surprise.
Which makes sense. The Switch came in and ushered in this entire wave of, hybrid handheld gaming systems. And in my opinion, it's still probably your best value bang for your buck to this day. We're talking about nearly 8 years later.
Yeah.
And it's still, in my opinion, the best you can get in terms of value proposition.
It's my favorite console ever. I've said it before. You've said it before.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally got you back into playing games. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like, it got me back into gaming. Yeah, definitely.
And I was kind of starting to fade myself before I got the Switch. I had a PS4, but I wasn't playing it a ton.
No,
at the time.
No, you really weren't.
The Switch kind of brought us back. And I think it did that for a lot of people. It not only bringing them back, but bringing them in general. The Wii made Grandpa play Wii Sports. It turned a bunch of families into extremely casual gamers, right? But the Switch made people gamers,
right?
Like straight up.
It was different than the Wii. The Wii didn't have it didn't convert people into gaming. It maybe let them try, but it didn't keep them on. Because we saw the Wii U come around and completely flop. So the conversion rate of people who came to Wii, teraflop, good joke. The people who came to Wii did not stay on for Wii U. It just wasn't compelling enough for them.
Right.
But I do think that the Switch seems like it's going to have that conversion that the Wii just didn't have.
It feels that way.
It definitely feels that way. 100%.
It definitely feels that way.
And judging by our poll results here, 50% of people are saying, yes, I'm going to get the Switch 2, which is a great number.
Right.
It's still probably my most played system. The PlayStation 5 maybe gives it a run for its money.
You really think you played your PS5 as much as the Switch now? You mean played it play that much these days.
Yes, these days.
Oh,
like I don't
okay.
know these days if you were to like count up like this past week of me gaming, like what did I game on most? You know, I played a lot of games on Switch. I played a game on the Steam Deck. I played PS5. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I don't play my Switch that much these days, but every time I pick it up, I do have fun. I just don't pick it up that much because honestly, I play the Steam Deck most of the time. But I wouldn't have got a Steam Deck if I didn't realize how much I love the Switch.
right.
So, you know, I in no ways have anything but love for the Switch. So I'm curious where you fall here, Randy.
Right,
Because
if I were to
I
vote
know
on
where I
this.
fall. I'm curious where you fall.
Obviously, I'm going to get the Switch too.
Well, yeah.
You know, and right now I have a Steam Deck on borrow from you, and so I've kind of got a gaming handheld, you know, PC locked down, and I don't see that being like completely out of date within the next few years. So,
Yeah.
you know, like I kind of have my options. I could see myself being tempted by, say, if Xbox put out a really compelling console that was a hybrid, I could see myself maybe getting one of those.
Sure.
Same thing if PlayStation did it.
I was about to say, what if PlayStation went whole hog on it?
If PlayStation did it, I would also be interested. I could also see myself if a decently priced, very capable Windows-based gaming PC came out. I could see myself being very tempted by that because the one thing that holds me back on like really loving the Steam Deck is that it runs Linux and you have to jump through so many hoops because of that. It just causes some things to be more difficult than they are if it was a Windows-based PC.
It does. I mean, it's got, you know, not everything's compatible with Linux. It's just
it's
just the thought.
It's just
I
the
mean,
problem.
it's the fact.
Yeah, it's just a fact. And so, and lots of times there are workarounds, but it's like always a process. Not always,
is.
but it is often a process.
It is a process. I haven't found that any of those processes that I've went through have been very hard.
No, but still, it's
you
like
know,
it's just that one extra barrier. It's
is.
like, okay, it's
It
kind of
is.
annoying.
And you know, I'm really curious about these Windows handhelds too because I have so much time on Steam Deck. I know that thing in and out. I love it. I know what it can do.
Right.
I know what it can't do. And, you know, I'm curious, like if I had a Windows handheld, what would I not like about that? You know, I'm sure it would be software related.
Right.
I'm just curious, like, which one would I really prefer? You know, I guess is kind of what I'm curious
Right,
about.
because all you know right now is a Steam
Yeah,
Deck.
I have my suspicions that I would still like the Steam Deck more because of the good software and Steam input. But because like Windows handhelds don't have Steam input, you know, it's not like that. So like
You
I
have
was
to do a little more configuring and stuff.
I was watching a video the other day of a guy playing his ROG Ally, and he was playing WoW on it, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, I was able to get a console port of this game so I could play it with the controls." And I was like, "Play with the controls? What the hell is wrong with you?" Like, and then I didn't realize, like, you know, Steam input just does that for me. Like I can go in and map whatever I want. So, you know, a little bit of a tangent there, but yeah, I'm also curious if a really super capable Windows handheld came out and it seemed like it had some good software. I would be interested.
But on a Windows handheld, can you not just like run Steam and do all the Steam things?
He could probably play it in like Steam Big Picture mode, and then by that point he probably would be able to do that, but I don't think he was playing WoW that way.
Well, it probably depends on what launcher you have and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
I guess that would be going through the... See, I don't play WoW. Does that go through the BattleNet launcher?
Probably.
I guess it does.
Probably, yeah. That's probably
So
the
that may have been the issue, but
Yeah.
so I fell in the yes multiple devices because basically anytime Steam Deck comes out, I'm buying it. I'm
Right.
buying the Switch too. If
Right.
Xbox made a good one, I'd buy that too.
Yeah, if it's compelling,
You know.
and then and maybe even a really compelling Windows-based one, you might try that as well.
Maybe, but I kind of think that would be the Xbox one.
Oh yeah,
I kind of feel like there's some overlap there.
yeah, and that's something we didn't really talk about much, but maybe we'll get to it in a comment. But let's move on here. Nimblasto says, I'll definitely get the Switch 2, even if it doesn't have backwards compatibility, or only if it's slightly more powerful than the PS4. One thing is certain, no matter what Nintendo does, they always make good games. It will be a letdown if that's the case, but I won't be a baby if they do. Even after getting a PC, low FPS doesn't ruin a game.
Yeah. So I'm with you, and I think most of us are. We're buying the Switch 2 no matter what.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that was cool to hear. And the rumors that I think we're hearing is that it's going to be like PS4 Pro level.
Oh, really?
That's what Kevin Kinson was dropping.
Does Kevin have some insider information? That
Listen,
we don't
I
know?
trust that beanie wearing dude.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be great.
Oh, that'd be
Like,
awesome.
I would be so cool with that.
No.
PS4 Pro to PS5 is not that different.
No.
Let's be honest.
No, not at all.
And so I'm down with that shit.
Oh yeah, I would be too. I mean, I think it's going to be, if it is that would be fantastic. I do think it's going to be, rumors are that it's backwards compatible. Like that's all the recent rumors have said that. So I expect it to be. I'll be very disappointed if it's not.
Me too.
I really think it's going to be.
Me too.
Nintendo has made such a big deal about saying that they're creating like these Nintendo accounts and that they're going to be persistent. And in my mind, that means the games you buy on the Nintendo account are going to persist into the future.
And they have a really good track record of backwards compatibility with their handhelds. So
Oh yeah.
I just don't see them breaking it with the best one.
They have a good record of backwards compatibility with their home consoles as well, with the exception of the N64. That's like the one. Other than that, every home console has been backwards compatible with the previous. Yeah, because N64 wasn't backwards compatible with
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Wait, Super
Are
Nintendo
you telling me
wasn't.
you could throw an NES
No,
cartridge?
you could not. You could not. Never mind.
I thought I
Wait,
found a huge gap in my knowledge.
Was there an adapter?
I don't know.
Was it? I remember using an adapter on something when I was a kid. Was there an adapter that you could run NES games on a Super Nintendo? I'm probably wrong.
Jamie,
about
look
this.
that up.
But you know,
There aren't any adapters that are like. I'm seeing no.
No, okay, so that wasn't a thing. Maybe it was a different system that I used that you could use an adapter to play. I'm trying to think what other cartridge-based systems were there. I guess like a Sega and stuff like the Genesis and things. Mm-hmm. There may have been what I was thinking about, because you may have been able to play some sort of. Let me think, like the Saturn. The Saturn was disc-based, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then the Genesis was cartridge-based.
Mm-hmm. And there's the Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast was also.
I think that was cartridges, wasn't it? Or was it discs? No, that was discs.
It was disc-based because it was
discs.
after the Saturn.
I don't know shit about Sega.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the Sega, like, had so many. I'd played the Sega console, the Dreamcast at the Genesis at my friend's house, and I would always play it, and he had he stacked the Sonic games, and stuff
Sonic
like
and Knuckles or whatever.
yeah, and all kinds of things like that. So maybe I'm just misremembering childhood memories.
That's a neat thing that they did there. That's pretty cool.
Also, there was the, on N64, there was the thing where you could play the Game Boy games, but what was that called?
Well, it's on SNES too. Get you a Super Game Boy.
Yep, yeah, definitely. I got one of those.
Yeah. So like Nintendo does this.
Yeah, they do this.
They do this well. So I think it's going to happen.
I guess like recently they've been really good about backwards compatibility, even with their home consoles from Wii and GameCube to Wii U and Wii. The Switch wasn't, obviously.
Here's an interesting question that I just thought of for you, Randy. What's the most money that Nintendo could charge you for the Switch 2 that you would still pay?
$500. Well, no, the most, like, they're going to be like, Switch 2 is $600. Are you going to get it?
Like, when's the breaking point? When do you not get it?
I'm such a fanboy. It's going to be a high number.
I know, but I'm curious what that number would be. I don't know what it is for me. I keep running numbers. So, like, $600?
$600.
I'm going to be mad, but I'm going to pay it.
Yeah, I'm going to be mad.
$700? I'm going to be freaking furious.
But I'm going to pay
it. I'm going to pay it.
Oh, that's going to be awful.
$8? You hit $800.
No way, it's going to be $800.
No, I know that.
This is like ridiculous. It's like this is such a like how much money? This is like.
But would you pay it? Would you pay $800 for a Switch 2? Would you pull out your card and
that may be the breaking point.
$800 is the point when we don't get to talk about Switch 2 on the podcast anymore.
That is such.
You realize at that point you're killing gaming.
I feel like such a stupid fanboy even saying that like $800. That feels ridiculous to me.
It's meant. It's a hypothetical. It's meant to be.
I know
a little ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. I hate that the numbers. I wish it was lower, but it's not.
So here's an interesting proposition.
Yeah.
What weighs more? An infinite amount of feathers or an infinite amount of Switch 2s?
They weigh the same.
He's right.
They weigh the same.
All right. You want to move on to the next comment here?
Yeah.
I had fun with that hypothetical. I'm glad you felt stupid, though. That was funny.
Jake Berry.
Old Jake Berry said, the only decent handheld I've seen in years is the PS Portal, because it actually has things to hold on the side. If it was a standalone handheld, I'd get it in a heartbeat, but you still need a PS5 to use, so F that. These handhelds need to realize holding a brick is not comfortable for long periods of time. Add some gosh darn handles. Give me something to hold on to besides the edge of a frickin' rectangle. I loved this comment.
Yeah.
Jake, what happened, man? Are you okay?
But at the same time, like, the comfort level of the PlayStation Portal compared to any other gaming handheld is ridiculously. It's so much better.
It's so nice.
It's so much better, and it
so
looks
comfortable.
so stupid.
It looks dumb.
and I think that is why no one does it. But leave it to Sony and like the PlayStation 5. All the PlayStation 5 stuff just kind of looks dumb.
It does.
I love it. I have grown to love it, but I know that objectively it looks stupid. But it is the best feeling handheld, bar none.
It is.
Like, it's not even close.
No, it feels excellent. And it looks dumb doing it. You're right. But it does feel really good. I will say that I don't love playing it above me, like if I'm laying in bed and I'm holding it up. There's something about the angle that it doesn't work as well for me. I'm always afraid I'm going to drop it.
I wonder if it's because the angle is like, it's kind of more ergonomic in the handle, so it kind of puts it at a particular angle that does feel really good when you're sitting up.
Yeah, I'm always afraid I'm going to drop it in bed. That being said, I haven't. Yeah. And it's excellent. It's so ergonomically sound. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because the Switch was not.
No.
Okay? Not going to mention the Steam Deck or any of those because they're obviously way better than the Switch.
The Steam Deck is better than the Switch. It still is not, like, I was playing a game on the Steam Deck the other day, and it had the game, like mini games, had run mapped to, you know, when you press in the stick, like press in L3. You know, lots of games do that. And for some reason with the Steam Deck, it just was not comfortable to do that. So I mapped
maybe because
it.
the sticks are so high, maybe.
Yeah, something about it just was not comfortable. Like, I played tons of games that were that way, and it's never bothered me. But this just, I could not do it. So I mapped run to one of the back buttons, and that solved the issue. But it was like something about this doesn't work. Something about this particular layout, and I don't know what it was.
It's interesting that you say that because I literally, for every game I play on Steam Deck, I map the top two back buttons to the stick clicks. Yeah. Every single game.
But
I'm just so used to it. I love it now.
But you've played tons of games where the stick clicks were you didn't even think about it.
And I'll tell you, the reason I started doing that, it was an abundance of caution. Okay. It wasn't an ergonomic issue. It was because I was coming off the Switch where Joy-Con joystick problems were just like at the forefront of my mind. And I was like, I can't replace these sticks as easily as a Joy-Con, right? You can replace the sticks, but you got to actually replace the sticks. And I was like, I don't want to break these. So I'm just not going to click them a lot. It was literally just me being like me babying the system. But now I'm so used to it that I really prefer it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, and through this game that I was playing, I definitely discovered that it's so much better to have that back button be your run button. But I was like, why? I don't know why, but it just felt uncomfortable. And it's got to be something to do with it may be that the sticks are high. Yeah. Maybe there's in a weird place to click and it doesn't feel as comfortable. They feel fine for moving around, but they don't feel comfortable to click in and like hold it there. Yeah. You know?
So, and it was a hold, not a toggle.
It was not a toggle. It was a hold.
That's so much worse.
Yeah.
Ugh. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's way worse.
But there are tons of games that do that. Where
I don't like that, though. I like me a toggle.
Oh, toggle's definitely better.
Yeah. If there's ever an option, I always change it to toggle. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to mention the Steam Deck.
Yeah, right?
The Switch is just very uncomfortable. It literally spawned a whole market of third-party grip accessories to make it usable. And
I love those.
I love them, too. But I wish we didn't have to have them.
Right. The Satisfy grip is fantastic. It makes playing the Switch just so much better in handheld. To the point of where it hurts me to use a regular Switch without a grip on it.
Oh God, I can't hardly do it.
You can't go back.
It's like I'm just holding it's so little and dainty and thin, like I can't do it.
Switch Lite in a Satisfy grip, peak comfort.
It's so good.
It's so good because it's light. It's very light, very comfortable. Those big grips, it just feels great.
I agree. I completely agree.
It's very similar to something like, say, the PlayStation Portal. You know, also very comfortable.
Very, very comfortable. So anyway, Jake, I'm sorry you're so pissed off, but you're right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The Portal's great. Let's talk about Whoop Whoop Kid. Whoop Whoop Kid said, 1951. Dang, Whoop Whoop Kid.
More like Whoop Whoop Geezer, am I right?
Right. I will if an Xbox handheld comes out. Yeah, And this is like what we've been saying.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you said you would get. What if it is an Xbox handheld? Okay, let me phrase this because I'm going into something without really completely explaining my thoughts.
Okay.
I've almost been assuming that
We never do that here.
that an Xbox handheld, if it comes out, I almost assume that it might be like a Windows-based PC handheld.
That's what I think too.
What if it is just an Xbox console? Like, what if it is basically just the next generation of Xbox consoles and then you can't use it in like PC mode and it's just an Xbox, like how we know them today?
Yeah.
But in a handheld. Would you be interested in that?
No.
Okay.
No. But I don't think it'll be that way, especially with Phil Spencer talking about like, oh, I want Steam to come to this and I want to be able to use Epic and all. Like, it ain't. I really don't think it's going to be like. I don't think it'll be so locked down.
You think they're prepping us to be able to say like we're going to have a gaming PC? It's not going to be a closed down ecosystem anymore.
That's what I'm really hoping.
I do too.
Because I think I think it would be a Windows handheld. I mean, hell, it's Windows. They're going to run Windows in some capacity, but I think it would have like a real polished Xbox style front end on it. And if I can access Steam and Epic and GOG, I don't even play anything on GOG, but as an example, like everything, I want to be able to access everything. And if the software is good, which it probably would be if it's Xbox branded, then I'm excited. If it's a walled garden and I can only play the couple of Xbox games that I want to play,
No.
I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah. Well, I hope that it is. I hope that they do go whole hog into saying, look, we make consoles, but they're just basically PCs.
Yeah.
I hope they do. I think that would actually be really good for them.
Me too.
Because then I think they might be able to get a decent price point on PC gaming, which would get a lot of people more interested in Xbox. They've got to do something.
Yeah. Now, I just thought of something we hadn't even talked about. We always talk about the software for this Xbox handheld. They're going to have to do some major upgrades to the hardware, though. Because, and the reason I say that is because I need gyro. Xbox don't have gyro.
Yep.
Also, what if they release this handheld and it runs off AA batteries? That's a complete joke.
It's not going to.
I'm just saying the Xbox controller is behind, and if they're going to make a handheld, they need to update it a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
I think the more I spend time with the PS5 controller and having that haptic feedback in the triggers, the more I love it so much. I started playing a PS4 game yesterday.
Yeah.
And obviously it does not have any haptic. And I got on a motorcycle and tried to accelerate, and it didn't give me any sort of resistance and I was using a DualSense controller.
Yeah.
And it felt so like something was missing. It just was like, something's wrong here.
Yeah. Those triggers are great.
Yeah. I'm so used to it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Switch 2 here. We got a comment from Avery Haferman, who says, they aren't making a Switch 2. I swear you've been saying this for years. It's coming, guys. I know it. Just one more Nintendo Direct, they'll announce it.
Yeah, I thought this was hilarious.
Is that you as in like you like me? Or you as in Daniel? Or both of us? Or
I think
like,
it's a you as in you.
Or like
because
a collective.
I haven't been saying this.
Have I been saying this?
Yeah. You've been saying just one more Direct, guys. You've been saying it for years, dude.
I have literally never said that. But I have been talking about Switch 2, and I do call it the Switch 2 because I want it to be called the Switch 2.
Yeah. I always try to include a funny comment at the end of a topic, and this one just made me giggle. Avery, I sincerely hope you're wrong as heck. And also, like, I hope that you get sweet, sweet revenge on whoever's spitting your Cheerios.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's very clear that Nintendo is making a successor to the Nintendo Switch. And
I would say so.
From everything we have seen, like literally every single rumor, I can't think of any that's like, oh, they're not making a direct, successor to the Switch. Not a single rumor.
No. That doesn't mean that I still don't have fear in my heart, but I really don't think there's anything to be that worried about.
You think that there's no way, because we think about like the NX, like the Switch, which was codenamed NX. When that was being worked on, all the rumors were like, they were there. Rumors were there, and it turns out most of them were fairly accurate, if not completely accurate, that it was going to be a handheld hybrid system that was going to have detachable controllers and that it was going to use cartridges instead of discs. Like all those rumors were coming out, and that's what made me excited about like, hey, there's going to be something cool coming from Nintendo.
Right. No, I think I think you're right. Like, I don't think we have anything to be worried about.
No.
There's still a very small amount of fear in my heart, like I said, but it's very small, and it gets smaller by the day. I just feel like it's a waiting game at this point.
Absolutely. All right. You ready to move on to our last topic here,
No,
Daniel?
I'm not.
Okay.
Because I want to tell the people about our Discord. Guys, we have the sickest Discord community on Discord. There's a join link in the description of this video. You need to click that and come over there and introduce yourself, because we got some really, really cool people over there. They're super cool, super nice, super inviting, and we're there too.
Yeah, if you're looking for a place to just talk games and just be involved with a gaming community that is very accepting and loves having new members, it's the place to be. It's a small community, but we just love games. We love talking games. Join the invite link or click the invite link. Come hang out with us on Discord.
Okay, so Randy, final topic, the biggest topic of the week. You've heard about this little game called Helldivers 2, right?
Very familiar with it, yes.
And you know that it's just like overwhelmingly like loved and adored by all, right?
That's the way it has seemed in the past.
Well, it's not anymore.
I know.
People hate it now. It used to be
wild.
loved, and now it is vilified and hated. It sucks now. Helldivers sucks now.
It is crazy. So for those of you who haven't heard this story, you probably think that Helldivers 2 is the game that everyone loves.
Well, you're wrong. It's the game everyone hates.
So what they did was they've done one seemingly small thing that has turned everyone against them, and is that they are requiring PC players to have a PlayStation Network account to log into the game. Hey guys, this is Randy from the future. I am editing this podcast right now. And because we recorded this yesterday, we have some updated stuff, because this is an, ever unfolding story. It's happening right in front of us here. What has happened is that PlayStation has just sent out a tweet saying that basically they're going to take back this thing they were going to do with Helldivers. They're no longer going to require the PSN sign-in for PC users. Let me read the tweet for you. PlayStation tweeted and said, Helldivers fans, we've heard your feedback on the Helldivers 2 account linking update. The May 6th update, which would have required Steam and PlayStation Network account linking for new players and for current players beginning May 30th, will not be moving forward. We're still learning what is best for PC players, and your feedback has been invaluable. Thanks again for your continued support of Helldivers 2, and we'll keep you updated on future plans. So yeah, that's crazy. Basically, they've backtracked everything. They're saying, okay, we heard you, we're not going to do it. But there's still, an interesting conversation to be had here, because the real question is it too late? Has the damage already been done? Is Helldivers going to be able to recover from this? And that's basically the conversation that Daniel and I are about to have on the podcast. So there's still a lot of interesting stuff to be said, but do keep in mind that this isn't actually happening anymore. They've basically taken it back. But like I said, is it too late? Has the damage already been done? Has Helldivers 2, has their good name been drugged through the dirt too much? And, how is this going to affect the game in the future? So definitely stay tuned to the following conversation that Daniel and I are going to have, just keeping in mind that this isn't going to officially go into place. They've backtracked it all. That may seem small to you. It seems small to me. I was like, okay, whatever, right? I mean, they said you have to just create a PlayStation Network account. I'm like, no big, I got one. I can just log in and it's done. Or if I didn't, I could just create one real quick and then you're done. Mm-hmm. But that's not where the story ends.
No, it's only where the story begins. Yeah. And as any good democracy-laden story, it has twists and turns full of betrayal. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Basically, Randy, he told you, you're going to have to log in with your PlayStation Network ID. If you already play the game, you got to do it by May the 30th. I think there's going to be a point soon thereafter where you're literally locked out if you don't go ahead and do it. And new players are going to be required to log in by linking their Steam and PSN accounts starting today, being the day this podcast comes out. This was apparently always planned, but they had a lot of problems when they launched this game. It was like inundated with new players. The servers couldn't support. They had some technical issues, so they pulled it. Sony's saying this is a safety and security feature to protect players from griefing and abuse, because I'm sure there's a ton of cheating in this PvE game.
Yeah,
that harms other players.
There's also probably very little griefing, but I can imagine that it will be easier for them to ban players or stuff like that if they're working through their PlayStation Network account. I think there probably is some truth to that. That might be a little played up, but they may be making a bigger deal of it than it actually is.
Yeah.
Because it is a PvE game, so I've never seen, but I don't play with like randos, so I don't know.
Well, that's a very reasonable response. The internet did not have that.
No.
Because in less than 48 hours, the game received over 100,000 negative reviews on Steam, which prompted a tweet from the Arrowhead CEO. Hit us with that, Randy.
Yeah. Who said, ouch, right in the review score. Well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry, everyone, for how this transpired. I hope we will make it up and regain the trust by providing a continued great game experience. I just want to make great games. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, he seems to be taking, this on himself, even though I'm sure this probably came down from Sony proper and was not put on by Arrowhead, I would imagine.
This is definitely not an Arrowhead decision. Why would it be?
But he can't exactly blame the boss either. So, there's only thing you can do is take responsibility.
I think this guy's continuing to be a class act,
right?
In my opinion, and just taking responsibility because he's the lead of the game,
right? Yeah.
But I don't think anybody should be blaming him. And I hope that this does not negatively affect Arrowhead. That's what I worry about.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think they're the problem here. I think they made a game everybody loves. And Sony, implements this decision that they literally couldn't refuse. And now, if you look at Steam at the time of recording this, the recent reviews are overwhelmingly negative, and the all-time reviews are now mixed for Helldivers.
Because they've had, over 100, could be getting close to 200,000 by the time this episode comes out, of negative reviews, probably.
Well, out of
flooding the thing.
Yeah. I mean, out of 207,558 total recent reviews, they are overwhelmingly negative.
That's wild.
And that's just at the time of recording this. By the time you see this episode, it might not even be mixed anymore. It might be something in the negatives. I don't know.
And I wouldn't doubt it if that prior to this, the recent reviews were probably overwhelmingly positive.
I feel pretty certain it was, yeah.
Or at least mostly positive.
I bet it was overwhelming. I bet it was overwhelmingly positive. Helldivers recently became the 7th most profitable Sony exclusive. Sony Studios.
And they
game.
don't even push like their microtransactions that hard. I mean, yes, they're there. Mm-hmm. And for certain people, they're going to be spending way more than they would on a traditional game.
Sure.
But, like for most people, you kind of can pay the upfront cost and you really don't have to worry about any microtransactions because they are fairly optional.
And who made that decision? Arrowhead.
That would have been Arrowhead, right.
I'm sure Arrowhead is the reason. Arrowhead's the reason that you don't have just a ton of crazy predatory microtransactions. Right. They're the reason that none of the battle passes go away, so there's no FOMO. Mm-hmm. They're the reason for all these good things, and I just hope they don't get punished.
Right. It is crazy how things can turn on a dime with something that seems small, but we didn't really even get to the big.
We're gonna
problems.
Get there.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get there. Okay. So first, let's do this comment here. From we got the groundhog jar, old Brody.
Mm-hmm. This is from our Discord, by the way.
Yeah. Brody says, I think the player base is right to be upset that they have to create an account when they didn't have to previously, as it serves them no benefit. Additionally, Sony's track record when it comes to data breaches is not great. PSN accounts cannot be created in some countries, so that complicates things more as well. Mm-hmm. And that is really... See, I didn't know that. When I first heard this, I was like, why are you guys getting so upset? It's just creating an account. You have to create accounts all the time. Like, who cares if you got to create a PlayStation account? It's not like this is an offline game and they're requiring you to log in on your account each time.
Right.
You have to have internet to play the game anyway. Mm-hmm. So I at first was like, I feel like it was an overreaction. Then I find out that the game is now delisted in over 150 countries.
Well, the game, it wasn't delisted at first. It's just these accounts aren't available there. So everybody was like, what the hell can I do?
Why can't you have a PlayStation Network account in these countries? Like, what is going on here? That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. But, Steam has delisted the game, in those regions.
Right.
And they're issuing refunds regardless of playtime. I saw a screenshot from a guy on Reddit who had like 100 and something hours. And he asked for a refund, and he didn't even say, I live in a country where PSN isn't available. He said, Sony has altered the agreements, and I don't agree to these new terms. and he had like 100 something playtime hours, and Steam gave him a refund.
Wow.
Good guy, Valve.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I doubt Steam is just taking that out of their wallet. So
No.
So are they really being the good guy? I mean, they're being a good guy, but if they were giving the refund out of their wallet, they'd be the really good guy.
Well, they could just stand by their refund policy and say, no, you've had the game for over 2 weeks and you've played over 2 hours.
Sure.
But they're not doing that.
No, that's crazy. That is wild. I think it is just, one, it's crazy how things can change so fast. You don't mess with gamers, y'all. You don't do it.
Or Jim.
Gamers don't care. They will turn on you and bite you instantly.
Right in the ass.
They will do it.
Right in the review score.
I'm not saying that, like, once I found out that, like, there were people who weren't going to be able to play the game anymore, that is ridiculous. I didn't see that. I didn't understand that at first, and I thought this was maybe a bit of an overreaction. Like, yeah, it's annoying, but come on, guys, it's just an account. But then, Brody brought up the point of, like, PlayStation Network has been hacked multiple times in the past. Information has gotten out about people. So, like, that's annoying, too. Like, if you may just, like, you may be the type of person who says, I don't want a PlayStation account at all based on their track history.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's definitely fair. That didn't even cross my mind until Brody, said this. But, I do wonder, because, it's available on PlayStation, it's available on Steam, and they said that cross progression was coming eventually. They would have to have this for cross progression to be a thing.
Yeah, because I think it would have to be mutual servers. Like, it would have to be probably saved to your PlayStation Network account.
So I'm wondering if this means they're just kind of moving towards things they already had planned. Like they already said, this was meant to be there from the start.
Yeah,
I agree. The data breach, your data breaches are not great. I get that, but cross progression is kind of one of those updates to the game that I've kind of been following. Because I would like to be able to play it on Steam Deck and have the progression that I have on PlayStation. So if they implement that and then eventually the game hits a sale, that's kind of been my plan.
Right.
So I kind of knew this was coming, but it does suck that so many people can't play the game.
I think one of the things that's really annoying about this, and the thing that probably makes the most sense to me in terms of why people would be upset, is that they are changing this game well after launch.
Right.
Which is something that is just like a pet peeve of all gamers. That is why we saw a very similar sort of thing happen with Tekken 7, where, Tekken 7 comes... Tekken 8. Tekken 8. The newest one, Tekken 8, where they come out and it's got nothing, and then later on they add microtransactions, they add all this stuff. Battle passes, and it's like, this wasn't here initially, guys, and we loved it, and now you're adding it in, and it feels like you've come around and been like made friends with us, and then you just kick us in the nuts, it's like, what in the world's going on?
You're getting spicy grandpa today. But you're right, and I mean it's similar. It's similar. They're not hitting you with a bunch of microtransactions, but they are hitting you with something you didn't agree to.
Right, and that wasn't there initially, and then it makes the game. It
feels icky.
It feels icky. I still feel like, I don't know.
But you can be mad at Bandai Namco for that Tekken crap, though.
Yeah,
that's their fault. I just don't feel like this is Arrowhead's fault, and that's that's the story to me. Is, are we the victims? Is Arrowhead the victims? Are we all victims? Thanks, Sony.
I don't know. We're going to find out. I mean, we'll see how it goes. The question that kind of immediately came to my mind when all this came out was like, can Arrowhead, can Helldivers 2 recover from this? Can they come back?
That's what I'm wondering.
Is this the beginning of the end for them, or can they possibly find a way to just get that good grace back?
I just think it's so unfair if they can't come back. It's unfair
over something that seems so small.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's fair. I'm not saying that we, being gamers, shouldn't be pissed about it. And if you want things to change, like I understand voicing your concerns, maybe through the review score, I get that. I don't. As a whole, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't love review bombing.
Oh, I don't either.
But I understand that this is bullshit, and that I get that. But I wish there was somewhere else the review bombing could have gone. Like, can we just review Sony?
Right.
I wish we could have done that. I hate that it's going to reflect on this game and the developer of the game.
And I'm sure if you look through it, probably has nothing to do with the game. It's entirely based on making you sign into a PlayStation Network account.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this has happened over and over with games that make you sign into some sort of account to play on another system. No one likes it.
No. It's super annoying.
But at least if it's up front at the beginning, you know what you're getting into from the very beginning. Like we've seen this with Sea of Thieves on PlayStation. You have to sign into your Microsoft account.
100%.
But if they didn't have that and they let you play for a few months and then said, ooh, now you got to sign up for a Microsoft account to continue playing, that'd be very sleazy. And that is what happened here.
That's exactly what's happened.
Yeah. I wish they had just implemented it from the very beginning and this would not have happened.
Yes. If they had just stuck with it and been like, well, we're having technical difficulties, but it's in.
It's in, yeah. It just hurts. It's almost like they shouldn't have done it. They should have just left it. They should have just left it as is. They had to have known, because this whole signing into an account thing, gamers don't like it, period.
No, we don't like it. And, it's not free to play PlayStation online, but it's free to play PCs, online games. So
yeah.
I wonder if there's a little bit of that going on too. Like, no, I'm a PC gamer for these reasons. I don't want nothing to do with Sony. F off. I don't want nothing to do with this PSN bullcrap.
Maybe, but I don't know. I do think it's largely just the fact that it's getting delisted in regions because people aren't going to have access anymore when they're changing it. After the fact, it's just, there's a number of things that peeve people off. Do I think that the review bombing is maybe still a little overblown? Part of me says yes, but I also understand. I think that gamers have a right to be annoyed by this.
Me too.
It kind of sucks that Arrowhead and maybe even Helldivers 2 is caught in the crossfire. That sucks.
And where does that leave, the spread of managed democracy?
Right.
What does that mean for the two-front war that humanity's been fighting against the bots and the bugs? Is fascism going to win? I mean,
we didn't really answer the question of do you feel like in your gut that this is is this the beginning of the end for Helldivers 2 or no?
I don't know, man. It depends on if they're able to pivot a little bit. If they can,
how can they pivot?
Maybe get the game online somehow in those regions.
They can make it up.
But I mean, some of those. I mean, they've already got their money back at this point. It's like, why would they want to pay you again? I mean, I think it's going to hurt it pretty permanently. I don't know that it's going to stay mixed. It might, by the end of it all, it might be back in the green. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be remembered as this golden child like it should have been. And that freaking sucks.
Yep. Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about how people love the game and how it gets a pass on the microtransactions because it's just a great game.
Yep.
And now we've
talked about it a bunch of times.
Now it feels like the game's not going to get that pass anymore.
No. No, there's no pass given.
Nope.
It's over.
It's been revoked.
I hate that shit.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out to the end of the podcast with us. If you're new around here, we do something called the 3 for Dale Club. What we do is we shout out people who make it to the end just to thank you for making it. So what you do is leave us a comment on the YouTube version of this podcast. Leave the phrase 3 for Dale. That lets us know you made it to the end. It's kind of our secret code phrase. We look for everyone who puts that in the comments and we shout you out.
I think that's everything. Yeah. So the first member of the 3 for Dale Club this week is Dale himself, Landon Stallings, who kept it short, kept it sweet, said 3 for Dale, fellers.
Yeah. You can just put 3 for Dale in a comment. It lets us know. You don't have to add anything else, but you can if you want to. Like Bombs Away here, who said, for Nintendo, I think they should stay exclusive for their IPs unless it's for a movie. By the way, this is the topic for last week. We talked about
Nintendo these comments and IPs.
Yes. And also, there's a comment about VR here. VR is more of a lack of space for certain games than it is money for myself. Granted, the price hurts. I'm just looking forward to the Switch 2 and hope they update everything they need for it. Yes.
Great episode. Hashtag 3 for Dale.
Yeah. I don't know. We talked last week about the Nintendo IPs. We also talked a little bit about VR, and we talked a heck of a lot about Switch 2. Like we've said, we in on that Switch 2. I hope that it's a really nice update, but even if it's just, a baby step, I guess I'm still going to be there.
Randy's going to pay $800 for it.
No.
All right. Next up, we got Bobbity, who said, honestly, can't even begin to think what Nintendo's really cooking. I've loved and invested so much in the Switch that I'd honestly be okay with just an upgraded version of that. The Reeferdale. That's what we're saying. Would you also pay $100 like Randy?
And Daniel. I want you to know that was his number too. In fact, Daniel never gave us a concrete number.
I didn't agree. $900. I didn't agree.
$900. You gonna pay $900 for a Switch too, Daniel?
There's no way. I feel so stupid even entertaining this.
Okay. And then finally, rounding out the 3 for Dale Club this week is D18, which you just put user-SP4KW7OC1B, but I'd know that username anywhere. That's D18.
That is D18, isn't
who
it?
said, 3 for Dale. I am also on team Don't Get Too Cute Nintendo. A more powerful Switch OLED would be great. If that's what they do, tell me where to send my money now. I would even send a tip.
Right. Now, how much money would you send? That's the question.
That is the question.
But I'm with you. I might even tip too. Also, Omaha.
Right. Well, guys, like we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you want to be a member or if you are a member, we do a bonus episode at the end of the podcast. This week, we're talking about, I'm way too excited about this, Resident Evil 9, because we may be getting it sooner than we think. So that's the bonus episode.
We need to spray you down. I need to get the spray bottle.
You're going to need to, yeah.
Oh, my God. And we're going to tell you what we're playing because we're playing games and crap.
All right. Well, stay tuned for that if you'd like to be a member or if you are. And other than that, gosh, let me think how to end this episode. Until next time, I'm Randy.
Go ahead.
Until next time, I'm Randy. Until next time, I'm
Randy. And I'm?
And that makes me
Daniel.
This has been Gaming Geek.
Go Braves and peace out.